Every few years, Hollywood likes to pick a few people that check off some boxes and shove them into every project imaginable. Whether it's Pedro Pascal, Jeffrey Wright, or Tessa Thompson, you start to get sick of seeing them everywhere you turn. It's even more annoying when you consider how many underrated and far superior actors like Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson, and Catherine Winnick are out there losing out on opportunities to these idiots. Adding to the list of morons is Hollywood's newest it girl, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And after destroying Indiana Jones, it only makes sense they'd give her another iconic character to destroy. This time, Lara Croft has the unfortunate pleasure of having Phoebe create a TV show about her.
What did you just say to me?
Yes, you heard that right. After being involved in a movie that lost over $130 million, she's being given the keys to another eerily similar kingdom. The way she portrayed Helena in Dial of Destiny is probably the same way she's gonna write Lara Croft, and what she's said so far supports that theory. Apparently, she wants to cut down on Lara's chest size because it makes sense from a logical perspective for a Tomb Raider to be athletic so she can squeeze into tight places. Funny how they use logic when it benefits them, but when they want a 90-pound chick in Charlie's Angels or Birds of Prey to toss around some very cooperative 200-pound stuntmen like they're nothing, logic goes flying out the window.
How does that even make sense?
It's a classic case of rules for thee but not for me. They get to be hypocrites by contradicting themselves like crazy and changing their opinions with the wind, but we're just supposed to accept them as being above criticism. The moment we try to apply logic, they yell at us and label us all kinds of ists and phobes, but when they use logic to ruin escapism and make things more representative of the real world, that's somehow okay. She claims Lara Croft was some kind of girl boss until they realized she could be a sex symbol. This is a picture of her first appearance in a video game. I dare anyone to try and actually argue she wasn't created to be sexy from the start. It's just more proof that despite her claims about how Tomb Raider has always been a part of her life, clearly she's talking about her own fanfiction version and not the real version we've all been seeing for over 25 years.
That is so deeply pathetic.
As usual, we're getting a show that isn't being written for the fans, it's being written for the people making this show. If you don't believe me, just read what Phoebe herself said. From its inception, they shove their thoughts and beliefs into a franchise, which can be fine if the franchise fits with those ideas, but in most cases they don't. Tomb Raider has always been about an extremely attractive female adventurer going around raiding tombs, discovering artifacts, and kicking ass. Very simple, very fun to play. Now they want to make it grounded, or in an even worse scenario, they want to adapt it for the imaginary modern audience that never shows up to watch or buy any of this crap because, again, as the word imaginary implies, they don't exist. What does exist is a track record of failure after failure. And not only did Phoebe fail her way into this job, but apparently Megan McDonnell did too. If you're like me and everyone else in the world who had no idea who she was, let me give you some context, because she might actually have a history worse than Phoebe. Her first professional writing job was on WandaVision, where she undoubtedly helped give us truly hilarious crap like this.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Then she went on to write for The Marvels, also known as the movie that lost Disney almost $250 million. She's also working on the upcoming Agatha TV show, which just sounds great. I'm sure that'll be a huge hit, that's why they've constantly delayed it. So put all their failures together and their movies have lost close to $400 million. Their TV shows were awful, and their upcoming projects sound like they'll be adding more money to their total losses. What a great decision by Amazon to put these two in charge of not just the TV show, but potentially jumpstarting an entire Tomb Raider universe of movies, games, and shows. If I was going to spend hundreds of millions to create a new shared universe, I'd probably want people who have experience actually making a profit. But I guess Amazon would rather have people on board who are experts at burning through tons of cash.
The only power I have is that I believe we can do better.
So get ready to see Lara Croft somehow end up looking bland, masculine, and unattractive, or in other words, a lot like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, while she brings down the patriarchy. The villain is most likely going to end up being one of two things, either an evil white man or a misunderstood minority who ends up turning against an evil white man by the end. Either way, count on there being an evil white man for these two vapid chicks to take out all their hatred of men on. I'm not even sure how a Tomb Raider show can work, seeing as how she's not allowed to raid tombs and collect artifacts anymore since it's culturally insensitive. But I'm sure Amazon will come up with something truly offensive to the real fans in order to satisfy all the people who won't even bother watching this show.